So, how have my last 8 months been? I think that when in life you have a lot of time to think over something, it gives you a lot of room to super analyze all the potential things that can go wrong. And so I think that I went through quite like long periods of like just trying to like really over prep for my life, me and my partner, and it just try and feel like we're covering everything. And I think when there's a mismatch in terms of like what expectations are, and there are certain things that the two of you don't are not the only parties that have the control over it, i.e. the third parties, because obviously when you're marrying a family, right? You don't marry just one person. So I think there was just a lot of um uh feeling like I don't know if I can handle this, and I don't know if I am prepared, or this responsibility of being a wife, like I can do it. And I think that weirdly enough, I verbalize a lot of my emotions, but in that period I feel like because I had talked about, I was trying to practice like, oh, not speaking my feelings, not speaking out negative things. So I feel like I sat in a lot of my worry a lot, and by the time I realized it, I was in a really dark place of just like seeing all the negative stuff to do with my relationship, to do with like my future and things like that. And like I just, the beginning of the 8 months was like it. I was very depressed. Like I don't even know how I survived. I don't even know how I even got to this point that I still even have a fiance. To be honest with you, you know. And it was literally a lot of therapy, a lot of counseling, and I'm just grateful that I have a partner that is willing to accept me for my ebbs and flows. Um, because although I think we're both still trying to figure out, like we've been together for years, so it's kind of like we like at each point you're trying to figure out the person that you need for to be for each other. But then also I think when it comes to planning a wedding and planning your future, you're also trying to assess, okay, what does that mean for my family? What does that mean for um my finances? What does that mean for where we're gonna live? Like some parents will want you to be near to them and all these things, and it's just like the dynamics of that is very tricky. And everyone also has their own dynamics in their relationship, so in their family. So I think for me it was just a very very dark place, to the point where I was like, I don't know if this is gonna happen. I even deleted all my wedding related stuff from my social media. I said I was never gonna do that stuff because people be like,
Something
it
happened.
was happening. Like I remember even uh during I think at the time that's when you got engaged. So at the time the way it was like really peak for me, and I've got engaged, and obviously we had to step up and like help and everything else that came after that. And like, and so it's like I don't want to be that person that's also bringing like the negative like news or negative vibe to my friends. So every time I was just kind of, I think like behind closed doors, I was crying every night because I was just like, it wasn't, I think in hindsight, um is really knowing yourself and knowing your flaws and knowing things that the enemy can really hound in on and zone in on, and really use it to kind of like manipulate you. And so then you start obsessing about things that are actually not there. And then when you start to then move in your feelings, then you start to kind of start making the wrong calls. But like I felt like I just felt very emotionally overwhelmed, very depressed. It was very hard for me to talk about my relationship. It like I was just like doing like I'm fine, and behind the scenes like I was crying every night. Like I think when they did you know when Spotify does the wrap up for the year, and then my song that was like the most played song was God will work it out. And then people be like, oh, pastor's wife, pastor, but they don't know that that song, because I'll be listening to it and I was crying with it every night, because it was kind of like, this is something that I want. I don't know why I feel like this. I don't know why I'm obsessing about this. I'm doing therapy. I'm praying. I'm doing all this. Like, I'm getting married. I'm supposed to be excited, but I feel absolutely.
It's okay. It's okay. Let it flow. Let it flow.